Okay, so I have a confession to make. For the last month, I honestly struggled to love the Pixel 10 Pro XL as much as I'd have hoped, as I was really excited for this release. But let's not get it twisted. This phone has moments of brilliance and does exactly what I hoped Google would deliver on. But on the other hand, Pixel finds ways to leave me with just lots of pockets of disappointment. This video is a story about my 1 month and change experience with this phone, highlighting the highs and lows through my discussion of my thoughts on its design, performance, cameras, and whether or not I can actually recommend this to someone or if they should look elsewhere. So starting off with the design, I think we can all agree that we need to give Google their flowers here. This is quite easily the best looking Android phone for all of 2025 for me, even beating out the Samsung Z Fold 7, which I thought looked beautiful. Do I hold this opinion because I'm a frequent iPhone user? I think so, like definitely so, and I don't think Google is actually trying to hide this. They made it very clear in their keynote about their intentions of wanting iPhone users to feel confident in switching to their device. And part of that process is actually creating a design that feels familiar and unmistakably elegant, which is iPhone. I love the shiny size of this phone, the soft frosted feeling backplate, the rounded corners that make it really comfortable to hold. The fact that this phone doesn't wobble when you use it flat on a table is awesome. And I think the camera visor on here might be my favorite one amongst all smartphones out in the market today. I definitely think the Moonstone color is the one to get out of all the colors that they offer this year. It just shines, it gets highlighted in a light in a way that looks stunning. The display on this phone is also gorgeous. It's very vivid and incredibly sharp, and it gets extremely bright at 3000 nits, so it has no problem being viewed in direct sunlight. And the 120 Hz refresh rate is smooth as butter on this phone, on par with the likes of phones from Samsung and Apple. In terms of the speakers, I actually think the Pixel 10 Pro XL has really good ones. I'll just play one of my videos here. So I've used the Apple Watch Ultra 1, Ultra 2, and now I'm on the Ultra 3, and this is... So the speakers actually sound really good, but my cat is distracting me. She's like obsessing over these ladybugs that are flying against the window, and she cannot, for the life of her, stop trying to attack them during my speaker test. By far though, my favorite thing that Google did was bring Pixel Snap, or what iPhone users know as MagSafe, to their devices. I'm honestly shocked that for years, no Android manufacturer copied this. Like, it's quite literally one of my favorite parts of iPhone, and it always felt like something was missing when I would switch to Android phones. Yes, obviously I know you can get cases that give you that capability on Android, but there is something to be said about having this built in natively into your device without needing a third-party case to achieve this outcome. I've tested their new Pixel Snap wireless charger, which supports Qi 2 and provides 25 watts wireless charging, which is really nice. I've used it across all of my iPhone MagSafe accessories, and it just works flawlessly. You simply get access to an entire ecosystem of accessories that otherwise wouldn't have been available to you, and it's just been really fun to kind of play around with, and I'm glad Google brought this to their phones. Honestly, when it comes to design, I don't have many gripes with it. I find it maybe just a tad too slippery without a case, making it hard to use while laying down, for example. It's especially more pronounced because I do have the XL model. I wonder if I had the regular Pro that this wouldn't have been as much of an issue. I also already have a few scratches on my display that are quite noticeable, so if you care about that stuff at all, I typically don't, but if you do, I would recommend getting a screen protector on your phone. But that's about it. Like, Google really nailed the design of this phone. Moving on to the performance of the Pixel 10 Pro, it's been a mixed bag of positives and negatives, so let me start with what went right. The new Tensor G5 chip, I feel, is underrated and underappreciated online. There's all this talk about how it just falls so behind the iPhone and Samsung devices in terms of benchmarks, and yes, the numbers do back that up. Like, Tensor G5 is nowhere close to the sheer power that we're seeing on those other phones, but when it comes to real world use, like actually using this phone day to day, the phone feels really quick and really responsive. Like, I never experienced any lag in Android 16 at all. The software is just super clean, it's minimal and just free of bloatware, which just keeps everything running smooth. And if you like stock Android, like, you're gonna love this phone. The haptics are also excellent as well. In fact, I actually type more accurately on this phone than on an iPhone or a Samsung, which is really interesting, I think. It says a lot about how good the keyboard feels and how responsive that touchscreen is. Thermals were also solid for how I use the phone as well. It never got uncomfortably hot during normal tasks, which I think is really important. And while it does warm up if you want to play games or do heavier workloads on here, that is to be expected. Like, devices are meant to get warm and hot. You just don't want that to happen when you're just on Instagram or just checking email, which this never happens with this phone. Google also put a big emphasis on AI this year, as they have done in previous years, and that's actually one of the main reasons why they moved away from Snapdragon in the first place to develop their own chip. So depending on who you ask, Gemini might be the best smartphone AI system right now. So Magic Q, for example, proactively suggests helpful information when you need it. In Google Messages, if you get asked about my plans, a calendar icon will pop up so I can check it quickly. The only kind of problem I have with it is it does not give me the full information right away. It is nice that I can tap through to my calendar and see the details, but I would love if it just served me the entire detail all at once that I can click and send in one message. I believe this will get better with time because it seemed like that's what was advertised for this feature to do. But just with the first month with this phone, that was the extent of detail that I was able to do with Magic Q, and it left me a little disappointed. I did have one neat experience though, where my wife asked me to bring in the laundry and Magic Q automatically created a reminder for me. It even pre-filled the task and set the time for 6 p.m. So that was impressive. And it does show like glimmers of hope of where this feature could go. Dictation has been one of my favorite features as well. I use speech to text constantly, guys, and this has been more accurate for me personally than what I've experienced with Samsung devices, which is kind of interesting and kind of shows a telltale of potentially how Tensor G5 is really geared towards more AI tasks and processing language. I found that the dictation on the Google phone is on par with what I would get from iPhone, which iPhone I think is the gold standard in my opinion. On top of that, there are smaller tools like writing suggestions in the Journal app, new AI features in the camera, which I will touch on later, and the 1 year of Gemini Pro that you get included, which gives you access to their best models, Veo 3 video generation, and 2 terabytes of cloud storage. Okay, so now while I think the AI features in here are cool, they definitely are not essential. Like, not from my month of using this phone. Like, people in my real life still would not touch nor care as much about these features as Google thinks that you should. They show promise, but they still don't feel like something that I can't live without. And I go days sometimes not touching these features or not really being too concerned about them. I just feel that smartphones in general haven't had their ChatGPT moment, if that makes sense. And I'm just waiting to see which manufacturer does it first, that comes up with something that truly feels irreplaceable, that you can't live without. In terms of like concrete negatives, I think there's only 2 things that I've experienced that has to do with battery life and stability. So starting with battery life, at first it was honestly pretty disappointing, guys. Like, I struggled to get even close to 5 hours of screen on time. I'd get like 3 to 4 some days, but after a few weeks, I would say by week 3 or 4, things dramatically got better thanks to Google's AI battery optimizer. So for example, just this past week or so on a Saturday, I managed to get 5 hours of screen on time with my charge capped at 80%. And if I had started at 100, I probably could have easily hit 6 hours. So the takeaway is that you have to be a little bit patient, let the phone learn your usage, and the battery should get better with time after about 2 to 3 weeks, I would say. The other issue was software stability, which is I don't know, like that's a weird thing to sort of talk about for a flagship phone. I just ran into a lot of random glitches with apps, like Gmail crashed on me many times. The YouTube app was giving me a lot of playback issues. Okay, so now let's talk about the cameras. And I first want to jump straight into the feature that has been catching the most attention, the 100x ProRes zoom. I have to admit, at first, it was actually a lot of fun to use. I would zoom in as far as I could go, I would snap a photo, and then wait and see what the results look like. It worked best with things that had big text, didn't work well at all with things that were small text, and it does pretty good with objects really far in the distance. It doesn't work with people, which I appreciate. It'd be a little bit creepy if it did. Overall, the results I felt were really impressive. But as time went on and the more that I kept using it, it sank in that this feature really is just generative AI models filling in the gaps of what it thinks is there. And then that like realization and like kind of ruminating on that thought had me asking like some more existential questions, because technically the memory I am capturing on my Pixel 10 Pro is no longer real. And do I really want a library of photos within my Google Photos app to be filled with images that did not actually happen or that were changed by AI into something different than what I saw in real life? Call me dramatic, maybe I am, but it just started to feel weird and I stopped using it other than just to show it as like a fun party trick for friends. So what about the cameras outside of AI? They're like just taking regular photos. Honestly, I was really happy with them. Every phone has its own look. It is very subjective at the end of the day, but if you like the punchy, vibrant, contrasty style that Pixel photos are known for, you will love what this phone produces. I do like the look a lot, and it has been a lot of fun seeing how consistently photos turn out on this. Google also added a new feature called Camera Coach, which is supposed to guide you into capturing a better shot if you're not comfortable with photography. So here's a live demo of that. Okay, so we're gonna see just how good Camera Coach is on my Pixel 10 Pro XL. We're gonna take a picture of this cat, or my cat Luna. Why am I talking like it's just a cat in this house? I've had that cat for a few years now, and we'll see what kind of picture it coaches me to get. Now we're gonna press the Camera Coach button. It sees my cat, and now I think it's gonna tell me what to do. Wait, what the heck? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I got confused. Let's try that again. It's gonna find me some options. I was really confused. Okay, so I guess it gives you options. Ramen poster detail, room with the view, cat on the sill, window gazing. Let's try the window gazing picture. So zoom into the cat for more prominent to reduce the empty space. So let's go to 2x, next step. On the left third box, I think you just ate a ladybug. Frame cat against the window. Use the window as a frame within the frame of a cat. So I think we're gonna move back and go like this. Take the photo. Does it like give me anything after that? So I mean, we're shooting against the window, but I think the framing was the right idea. I think going into 2x, kind of moving back a bit and getting the cat on the lower third, on the left third, actually looks pretty good. Yeah, so overall, I think Camera Coach was okay. It actually gave decent advice for that specific demo. As always, with any AI feature, I think just a fair warning, like it's never perfect. I feel like it's different scenes or more complicated scenes or photo ops that you might do with the Pixel, I think this will probably fall apart. I don't know. I don't really see myself using this too much, but I think for people who are new to photography, I think this is actually giving some pretty solid advice of you to kind of build your skills off of. Camera Coach is not going to make you an incredible photographer, but it will teach you some basic principles about what makes a good photo, and then you can build from there. So if we look at it from that standpoint, then I think the feature is actually pretty good, and I just talked myself into giving it a higher rating than I was going to do. For video quality, the results have been fine, but I can't say that I love them. The videos look okay. They get the job done, but they just don't do or look as natural or clean as what you'd get from an iPhone, I think. I actually found it a little funny that Google hyped up the Jonas Brothers music video being shot on this phone because it looked okay at best, respectfully. I have a hard time just believing that professionals myself included, would actually choose the Pixel for video when the iPhone and Samsung offer just a much stronger suite of tools for people that really care about pro video. So to wrap this all together, should you buy the Pixel 10 Pro? If you're a Pixel fan with an older device, or if you're coming from an older Samsung or another Android phone, I think there actually is a lot here to justify the upgrade. The cameras deliver great photos. Pixel Snap is a huge deal in my eyes. The design is stunning. I love the colors this year. And I still stand by saying it's one of the prettiest phones ever made. On top of that, you get a clean stock Android experience that runs smooth as butter, 7 years of promised updates that Google is really good at actually delivering. Other companies are really slow with it. Google's is pretty quick. And they also, I feel, have the most in-depth smartphone AI feature set that you can get right now, especially because you can get 1 year of Gemini Pro included if you care about AI stuff. Where I hold back personally is on the price and just the balance of this purchase, because at full cost, it does feel like a little bit steep given the imperfections that I was personally running into. Like, I would feel a little cheated. But thankfully, Google phones do tend to go on sale quickly, and they usually have some of the best carrier deals, I think. So I would just wait for a good deal rather than paying full price for this phone. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment hashtag I made it if you did finish this video. Subscribe if you're brand new to my channel, and I'll talk to all of you guys in the next one. Peace.